You know, some people enjoy composing their own music, chord by chord, and others are happiest when they come across that one perfect song. Work is not a lot different than that. Whether you prefer building your own workflow or using a pre-made template, with Monday.com, you and the team can work in a way that's comfortable for everyone. Tap the banner to go to Monday.com and build your own amazing workflow, or find an awesome template. No judgment.
Welcome to the RuPaul's Drag Race Recap Show for Season 14, Episode 5, titled Save a Queen. My name is Joe Betance, and I am joined, as always, by two loquacious co-hosts, and for once, we have someone who knows what these words mean. From Afterthought Media's podcast, The Tea, please say...
That little bitch ain't topped nothing in her life.
To Jay Ellis. Hello, Jay Ellis. How are you?
It's chocolate.
Wait, hold on. How are you, Jay? How's it going?
I'm doing well. How about yourself? I, to be clear, am the host that does not know what loquacious means. I think I went to school with her.
The Lucretia La Bamba.
Yeah, in Pacoima. Well, we're gonna find out what it means right now, because please say also from Afterthought Media's Bring It to the Runway. Please say
I'm just a little girl.
To Robert Mata. Robert Mata, what does loquacious mean? Please educate Mr. J. Ellis.
Hi, Joe and Jay. Loquacious means basically very wordy, very verbose, uses too many words to describe a simple definition like I'm doing now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I would not describe myself as talking a lot or oversaying things too much, so Joe, I want you to take that back.
By the way,
Wait, Taylor's not here.
Yeah, where's Taylor?
Uh-oh. Did he have another cardiac event?
Oh, wait, guys. I have a special message from Taylor.
Hey guys, it's me, Taylor. You're probably wondering why I'm not there. Well, last week when we were taping Drag Race Recap, I made a quick move at the craft services table to grab a donut. And what ended up happening was I rolled my ankle. The doctors have said that I can't be on it for 2 weeks. So unfortunately, my time with Drag Race Recap Season 14 is temporarily paused. But in the meantime, Robert, I don't know you, but I hope that you have fun. Enjoy this chance. And Jay, it was clear that Joe enjoys having people that are fatter than him on the show. So obviously you were the first person he thought of. So enjoy your time. And I guess I'll see you guys when I see you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Oh, yeah. So Taylor will not be here today. He rolled his ankle. So best of luck. Speedy recovery, Taylor.
Maybe. I will clear that he couldn't complete his reign as Drag Race Recap Continental, so Robert and I stepped in.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coco Montrese, as always, for stepping aside.
Yeah, Robert is, let's just give a quick plug. Bring It to the Runway is an Afterthought Media show. You can look, it's currently on Anchor, which takes forever to get it on all platforms, but for sure right now you can get it on Spotify. And you guys just started covering UK versus the world, which is going to be really awkward when they make 2 episodes in 1 week, one for us for a Drag Race Recap on UK versus the world, and then they do another one. You guys should probably just put it on both, don't you think? I mean, why?
Yeah, whatever works. I think we have our own feed now, so we're running with that. But I think we still have to figure out what the cadence is of releasing the UK versus the world episodes, whereas our Bring It to the Runway Season 14 usually comes out on Monday.
Yeah, well, so his co-host is Christian, and I am
That's
not
his
related.
name, not his religion.
Yeah. His religion is he hates Versace. His religion is, I don't know, name a designer. I
probably Balenciaga.
Thank you. There you go, Robert. And, but what I was going to say is, I am not related to Christian. In fact, I've only known him for a few months, but it feels like one of my annoying cousins that I've known my entire life. It really does. That's sort of the relationship I have with him. He sends me your episode like at midnight last night. And then I wake up this morning and he's like, bitch, post it. People, the fans are wanting it. I'm like, I just woke up.
Like this.
Christian's on his own time at all times.
Yeah.
Which
you guys recorded
can be a big benefit.
Yeah.
You guys already recorded your show last night?
No, we are going to do that later this afternoon.
Oh,
but
okay.
this was a bit of a delay between the first episode of UK versus the World and us deciding that we are going to do both.
Oh,
I keep forgetting that we have 2 drag shows happening at the exact same time.
Yeah.
This might be the last time you forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, if you want to hear Bring It to the Runway, well, you can have it in your own feed, but you can also hear it on Patreon. Jay's show, The Tea, is available to everyone on Patreon. There are so many great shows available, even though Robert was listening to old Jay Ellis episodes from like 7 years ago, on Google, but on Patreon, patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. We're going to talk about more about them later, but so much great content, so many new people joining the show, and they're going in the Discord. They're meeting what a great audience. And once again, I cannot plug this enough. And I was telling my cousin about it yesterday. Not Christian, an actual blood cousin. But both of them are gay. And, I was telling him about how I'm very jealous because he was talking about a quote that Kanye said that his biggest regret is he's never been to a Kanye concert or something. I'm probably paraphrasing or something like that.
What
right?
a surprise.
But I was saying I can relate because the Afterthought Media community is so amazing and warm with each other. But when I walk in the room, Boppy walks in the room and they all shut up, you know? And so, I wish I could be in the live episode discussion, like kikiing it with them the way they do. You know, but they have a blast when they watch the episode live together on Discord. They have so much fun. I can't be part of it, but you can if you go to patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. All right. This week, Cornbread exits the race. The queens hump balloons and record PSAs for a fake organization called Save a Queen. On the main stage, the category is Spring Has Sprung. Bosco is named the winner of the challenge, while Georges and Orion Story are placed in the bottom 2. In the end, Georges wins the lip sync, and Orion Story is asked to sashay away. Ladies, name 2 things you liked about the episode and 1 thing you did not. We're going to start with our very own Robert Mata. Robert, do you have, you've never done the show before, but do you have, Tamar, but, do you, Tamar, have you ever done the show before? But do you have 2 things you liked about the episode and 1 thing you did not? Did that you come to something in the chamber there?
Yeah, things are bouncing around. I would say one of the things that I enjoyed was Ava Max just repeatedly saying that I would wear this. This is something I would wear. I love this. Oh, this is so great for me. Yeah. And it's something that these pop girls do every time they're on the show, is that they have nothing substantial to say except refer back to themselves. And I just love that commitment to narcissism. And I hope it happens every time.
Well, also the highest compliment that they can give is that this person would wear it.
Yeah. I suppose I don't think that Ava Max is known for turning a look.
Well, here's the thing too is, I'll say this now because the only comment I have about her is later on she's talking to, I think, Orion Story, and she's like, you didn't give us energy and charisma. And I'm like, bitch, are you listening to yourself right now?
No self-awareness.
Yeah.
And I love that type of cringe-inducing foolishness.
Yeah. So. And then, what was another thing you liked?
My second thing is also somewhat cringe-inducing, but this time I didn't find it. I thought Orion's Story was really enjoyable this episode. I think that the looks that they turned and the sort of presence that they had was much more enjoyable than we've gotten the last few episodes. So for an exit episode, I thought she showed out fairly well.
All right. What about the thing you didn't like?
There's only one thing I think I didn't like, and it was maybe... This is like such a tiny thing, and I'm not asking for anyone to get canceled or anything, but Jasmine Kennedy called Georges a Chihuahua, which kind of made me raise my eyebrow. I'm just like, why, how do you not know not to call a little Mexican boy a Chihuahua at this stage in the world?
Well, you don't know. That's how in legal writings, that's how I refer to you every single time.
But I do shake sometimes like it. I got the tremble, but I could say that, and you can say that.
Yeah, that's true.
Jasmine Kennedy, can she? Who cares?
That's true.
I would not be saying that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Chihuahua? The state of Chihuahua in Mexico.
Yeah. And that's actually where my people are from.
Oh.
Where are your people from, Robert?
Jalisco and Michoacan.
All right. All right. So, which is funny. Okay, wait, hold on for a second. So famously, Christian's at war with I will say my adopted son, Armando. And I think you guys have like a familial resemblance. Not I wouldn't say you guys look alike, but a familial resemblance. And you both go to he's currently going to Stanford. You went to Stanford, and his people are from Jalisco and Michoacan. Interesting.
In general, many of the people who decided to immigrate were closer to the border, that, of course. And so immigrant communities tend to collect in the same areas, so that might be why. We're all. Of course,
Robert so many find logic to it. Yeah.
No, it's true. It's
no,
like,
it is true. That's why
demographic.
Hey, look, I am an expert in Mexican food, and I've talked about extensively about how northern Mexican food is so influential on Mexican American food, and so that's why. So the burrito was technically. See, look what you started here. The burrito was technically it's very different from what we have here. Invented.
It's going to get loquacious.
Because from the state of Chihuahua was essentially the breadbasket of Mexico. It's sort of like what Iowa
the Modesto.
is. Yeah. And so, so they had a lot of grain there. So that's why they have flour tortillas in the northern states. Below they have corn tortillas. And so, it was very common when the people got work that they would throw in a little bit of a guisado, a stew, into some flour tortilla, wrap it up, boom, there you go. A burrito, of course, it comes here and the people in San Francisco bastardize and turn it into everything but the kitchen sink in a flour tortilla. But anyway, what I'm telling you is, if you go to, it's changed now because America just fucking spuges its culture everywhere. But before, you'd go to, they didn't know what the fuck a burrito was. And even a burrito as we know it is unrecognizable in Mexico. So, but it shows you the influence that northern Mexico has on our culture of what Mexican is, when it's actually very, Yucatan culture is very different, than what we're used to. Anyway, that was our little history lesson. Thanks, Jasmine Kennedy. Jay Ellis, AfterBuzz TV's Jay Ellis, why don't you go ahead and insult us culturally, but also tell us two things about the episode and one thing you did not.
I like corn tortillas, for the record.
Okay.
More than flour. Mm-hmm. Okay, I wrote mine down.
That's why you're thin and I'm fat.
Excuse me?
That's why you're thin and I'm fat.
Oh, okay. I overall love this episode. I thought it was a really fun one, with the exception of one thing that we'll get to later. I loved seeing the old queens. Having Tempest, James, and Kimura back was so much fun.
Okay, go ahead.
It always works. The second thing I really liked was Lady Camden this episode, and I wasn't expecting that kind of twist for me to enjoy this character on the show.
You really like me? Did you really like me? I'm trying to do the weird thing she does. I don't have as long of a neck that she does. To me, I'm getting like Lion King, giraffe bowing the neck whenever I see Lady Camden.
Sure. Yeah. I see that. And then the one thing I did not like was I guess I'll get to it now. The final product, like the challenge was fun to watch, but I didn't like it all bundled together. I thought it was messy. I don't understand the rhyming scheme. I've never seen a PSA with rhyming.
I don't get it.
I question if the team of producers had ever seen an actual PSA. So anyway, that was my one thing. I'm what happened here?
I know we'll talk about it in depth when we get to it, but also, were you also especially the first time around, there was the transitions were a little too seamless. We're we're talking about James Mansfield now. Okay, how did we get there? I was it was it just sort of blended into one, and so.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about it in depth. For me, I actually, like you, I love seeing the former contestants. That was a lot of fun. I don't know if I would have chosen Kimura Hall, but those first two are perfect first girl going home contestant. You would think they would use that opportunity to bring back Evangie, because she was another first going home.
Right.
But
that's what I thought.
Or who else would have been a good first going home? Pork Chop?
I was shocked that Pork Chop was not one of the options.
She was busy.
I mean,
what's they should bring back a rando one, what's
Elisa Summers or something.
or Magnolia
She
Crawford.
was a queen for every season.
Yeah, or what's the one from season 5? Taylor
Penetration.
Penetration. Thank you. But
she won the Facebook fan vote.
Yeah, but what's so funny though is who would have been perfect for this, and she is a comedy queen. People think she went home way too early. Who was the other one from season 6? Not Magnolia, but Kelly Mantle.
Oh, Kelly Mantle would have been
a great when she's LA based, anyway.
Or even that charmer Soju. So charming.
Goodness.
let me tell you what, Robert doesn't know this. This soju. Jay and I used to both work this drag con, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And this is before she was on Drag Race. She just had a YouTube channel. So they would wrangle you into this press room, right? And then this particular year we're talking about. And then they would bring the drag queens through. And then you gotta fight like fucking Survivor people starting for food, right? To get a word with Sasha Velour. And, this soju, let me tell you, what a fucking sourpuss bitch. She just sat in the fucking corner, didn't socialize with anybody, horrible human being. And then what's funny is on her season, she goes like, I'm known for being friendly to everybody. I'm like, really, bitch? Because I fucking saw you. You were like the most sour, dour person I've ever seen. Maybe if I was 11 years old, then she could have hit on me.
God, too true.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought RuPaul looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that dress looked really good. I'm sure they'll cover it on Bring It to the Runway over on Spotify and soon to be on platforms everywhere. The one thing I did not like, but not for the obvious reasons, was the loss of Cornbread. I do feel that apart from her chance at the competition and is that she brought an enormous amount of charisma that this cast desperately needed. And now that hole it's a vacuum now. There's a vacuum of charisma. And Jiria has to carry all on her own. And you really, really, really felt it this episode. And, I actually feel for the post-production team of how they're going to fill that. I mean, look, the most interesting thing that they had was Jasmine Kennedy saying hullabaloo. And the producer going like, what is that? And I'm like, you don't know what a hullabaloo is? Like, she didn't make up a word. This is a word in the English language. This is not flazé-da, And
I'm going to push back a little. Are you done with your point?
Yes.
Okay. I want to say that I love Cornbread. I enjoyed watching Cornbread. I'm sure she'll be back in some aspect of the show sometime eventually.
Well, we love corn tortillas, so
so why not translate it to Miss Bread herself?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's my name, corn tortilla. Chate.
But as Robert, the boss, Chate. Robert said it earlier that we got more of Orion this episode. I think that not freeing ourselves from Cornbread, but not having her as our narrator for every episode allowed us to have confessionals from other queens and let the room breathe a little bit. I don't know if that makes sense. I enjoyed Cornbread on my TV, but it did allow us to get story out for other queens and not have a go-to narrator for every scene. That's the only thing I noticed.
Okay, I see your point. I think that would be really good in like, if I hate doing this. It is not because they're both fat and black, but it's like Eureka. No, just kidding. No, it's like Silky, Nutmeg, Ganache. Like, Silky's season, there were a lot of personalities. And so if she would have been removed, it could have easily filled it up. But Sicky's charisma sucked the energy out of the room. Cornbread actually was brilliant at I didn't get that sense. She didn't really suck the energy out of the room. You did have to look at her because she is a star and she has that X factor. But I think she was really good at balancing that. But I see what you're saying. Now we're getting to see the amazing charisma of people like Lady Camden and Jasmine Kennedy. All right. After Alyssa's elimination, Carrie vows to show her scary side, and the queens congratulate Angeria on her cash prize. Cornbread's feeling down after being in the bottom, and Lady Camden shows off her sparkly panties. The next day, the girls kiki around the workroom table, but notice Cornbread is missing. It's like Power of the Dog, and then that moment, to me, are the big Oscar contenders for acting. Cornbread appears on... Where's Cornbread? Where is the fat black girl? We didn't notice she was missing.
She wasn't in the van with us this morning.
Yeah, on the way here in the van. Anyway, Cornbread appears on screen and reveals she suffered an ankle injury and must leave the race, sending messages to Carrie, Willow, and Jasmine. Next, the queens must thrust and bust balloons with the pit crew to assign teams for this week's Maxi Challenge. This week, they'll write and record PSAs for the fictitious Save a Queen Foundation featuring first outs from past seasons. Season 7's Tempest du Jour, Season 9's James Mansfield, and Season 13's Kamora Hall. I have a list of how the teams are broken down, but I feel that would disrupt the flow. So we'll hit that up when we have to. But let's start with Jay Ellis. Your thoughts? Let's talk on everything. There's not really much to say unless you do after the elimination, but let's talk things Cornbread. Let's talk things, The mini challenge. It's like a weird mini challenge, but not. But yeah, but whatever you would call that.
I feel like, okay, so the cornbread of it all, I feel like it was strange for her to do it from her room, like with an unmade bed. That I don't understand why they didn't.
She was done up. It was weird. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of wish that they gave her a little bit more respect, like as she was leaving, because she got a little, I don't know if you watched Untucked, but she had like a little, at the top of the episode of Untucked, she had like a solid 3 to 5 minutes of explaining what happened, a little bit more in depth, and we kind of got to see her pack up. I wouldn't have minded that being in the main episode so that we got a little bit of more closure than like her in a hotel room.
You know what? From a producing standpoint, I just thought of this right now. You know, like when you are injured in baseball, at least, I don't know sports. Robert, are you posing for your graduation photo right now?
No, but I guess I am giving a certain amount of face.
Yeah, Robert is posing very like with his head on his chin, but like, you know, if I put my head on my chin, it like smushes my face like this. But Robert's was like expertly posed, like he was just giving face.
I was the thinking man.
Yeah, you were the thinking man. Anyway, so when in sports, because they're paying you fucking $13 million a year or whatever, they're like, oh, you're injured? You're going to go to every fucking game and sit there in your fucking uniform and watch the game. I'm surprised they didn't do that with Cornbread because she is such a personality, maybe not be in the workroom and all that, but be there for Untucked when the girls came out and sort of Kiki when it made sense just as a presence, you know? Mm-hmm. Which is sort of surprising to me that they wouldn't use that opportunity to do something like that. Cornbread, stay locked up in your hotel room so we can use you to entertain us. Yeah. Okay, so then, Rob, do you have any other? Oh, let's go on. Robert, do you have any thoughts on the whole Cornbread situation?
Only that I think the editors shot themselves in the foot by focusing so much on Cornbread the first several episodes. Mm-hmm. And if there is a vacuum, it's because they created it a little bit, and that's sort of a letdown for viewers who were really latched onto Cornbread because they gave us so much Cornbread material. And I think you're right. Angeria really does have to step up because she's the next sort of effusive character we have on the show.
Yeah, that's a really good point. One thing I will say, and Jay, you can listen here. Robert, were you as impressed as I was with Carrie's Spanish accent when she was wiping off the lipstick mirror message?
Well, I don't recall it, to be honest with you.
Oh, it was actually quite good.
I didn't clock it.
Yeah, she's all, goodbye, my Latina queen, like in a correct, it wasn't trying too hard. It was like as if she spoke in Spanish. I don't know. Maybe she's a little bit of a Latina. I don't know.
Well, she lives in LA. I'm sure she's gotten some of it by osmosis.
Yeah. If that's what you're calling it. And, by the way, in the B-roll footage, at least in the post-elimination, Cornbread seems to be walking around just fine. Now I'm going to hit this up when she says in her video. Well, let's talk about the acting moment. So they come into the room and they gather around. They immediately say, "Where is Cornbread? I don't see Cornbread. Anyone?" And then they're like, "Jeffrey, where's Jeffrey? Jeffrey, Cornbread." See, that would have been a great one for Willow to be like, "Cornbread, where are you, Cornbread?" And look under. Is Cornbread in your hair? You know,
is she behind your hair?
Is she behind your hair? Is she under the table, Cornbread? You know, Jeffrey Cornbread Chapman. But then they come in, they play the video, and she says she rolled her ankle on the acting challenge, right? Mm-hmm. Let's think about this. From what we know about how they film this show, they'll film the challenge one day, and then the next day is Elimination Day main stage. That takes a whole day. So you're telling me on Tuesday, she injured her ankle, went through the entire day Wednesday, went home, and in theory possibly could have been on the sort of like crew weekend. We don't know, right? And now she's like, I'm injured. We didn't know it the next day? The next day? She didn't know, and she seems to be walking around just fine. I'm not saying she didn't. What I'm saying is she didn't do it on the acting challenge. Maybe Taylor was a little right. She might have been walking to craft services, or there was no dancing in this one. Doing something else. I don't think it was during that. It doesn't make any sense. Robert, you want to weigh in on that?
No, but I love the conspiracy in general.
I always have conspiracy.
Now I'm thinking, is it during the let the music play segment? Maybe Cornbread busted out and tried to do the worm and she twisted something else.
You know what? You're right.
Not the
but
worm.
You know what, too? Here's the deal. When you are... Well, Cornbread's not that old, but when you get old and stuff, you start injuring... I wouldn't say fat because Adam Burns and I have talked about this and he's not fat or anything. Is you start injuring yourself in your sleep. You like certainly you see me wake up and you're like, oh, my ankle. Like, how did I just hurt my ankle when I was sleeping? So I don't know. Maybe it's something like that. Now, by the way, too, this is episode 5. So in theory, they've been there a little over a week or so, maybe close coming up on 2. Cornbread didn't die. And she's not going to prison. The way they're reacting as if we're never going to see Cornbread again. Willow is crying. She's crying.
Like they went through Vietnam together.
Yeah, she didn't know Cornbread 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, she didn't know Cornbread. Willow's not from L.A. Now she knows Cornbread, and she's sobbing.
I agree. That was actually what I was going to say was one of the things I didn't like from the episode, but I thought it was too mean-spirited and nasty. I was just like, y'all need to calm
You're at the right place.
Yeah, you're on the right fucking show, baby.
It was overwrought, for sure. But in general, I mean, the show, did a whole challenge about this last week where they're trying to get their emotional lines in and all the just excessive drama.
I think these situations put you in a weird position because you are with these people for 12 hours or 14 hours out of the day, and you just latch onto somebody, and when that like the anchor, like the one you go to and make like the weird conversations with is taken from you, you're like, oh, now what? So I understand you're in a pressure cooker with these situations, but it's a bit much.
It's a bit much. By the way, I love how RuPaul goes.
R.I.P.
RuPaul goes. She did not have the gold candy bar. Like, no one is believing this ruse.
I bet you can't read the room.
Yeah. No one. 0 people think that there's one gold candy bar. No one is thinking this. If I could, I would give that big Agatha from WandaVision wink. Like,
they bought a lot of goodwill for the chocolate twist with that sad trombone sound. I think without it, we would have just probably had gays marching in the street by now.
I would love it. Like, who do you think is going to get the gold bar? Let's take bets right now because there's no consequences. I think I know who it is going to be. Jay, who do you think?
My thought is, I think Carrie Colby has been coasting in the middle, and not coasting, but she's not performed. She's been kind of in the baseline, and I think that when she has a lip sync where she doesn't do as well, they're gonna be like, give her the gold.
Robert, do you agree?
I totally see that perspective. I see it for Willow.
Oh.
I think they're giving her the cinnamon bun, precious, protect her edit narrative, and they're probably going to do whatever they can to allay fan outrage when she probably loses a lip sync.
I was with Jay. I thought it was going to be Carrie.
Truly, though, I could see it for Willow. I feel like Angeria, Willow, or Carrie at any moment could have that golden ticket. I think that those are the 3 that they're like, we will protect these ones.
Yeah. All right. Let's move. Did you guys get all your thoughts out? Oh, let's talk about the mini challenge. We didn't talk about the mini challenge. So the mini challenge, that's what I'm calling it, even though they don't describe it as such. They have to pop balloons on the pit crew, which I don't know about Bruno, but the redheaded one, Bryce, is straight, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And the queens have to like take these balloons, put them between them, almost like in a shitty like baby shower, wedding shower kind of thing. And there's a gold glitter telling them what team they're on. Robert, let's start with you. What did you think of this challenge? Do you have any thoughts on it? Anything big?
It was really fun to see them do something unabashedly gay again and just having a good, grand old time.
Yes.
Of course, we got the, oh my God, Maddie is straight moment, which I think we're going to be subjected to every episode. So I'm just getting used to it until probably next week when she goes home. But, or the week after. I don't think she has much longer. But other than that, I think it was a great time. I was happy to see George's prance and do her little chihuahua thing, I guess. And it was a fun time.
There's a moment where Georges keeps going like, I, as she's trying to pop the balloon, and 100%, because people may not know this, he's sort of the invisible co-host today. Christian calls himself a top. And I was like, this is 100% how Christian tops. 100%. By the way, just a plug for the Porn Decor Lounge. Christian posted this, by the way. There's a video of Christian's roommate filming herself as she listens to Christian get railed in the other room, and you hear the I in the Porn Decor Lounge. Once again, everyone, Christian posted this. Okay.
What?
Yeah, exactly. And so now you don't see anything. It's just his roommate Jake. Yeah, it's his roommate Jake.
Him and his roommate have a very comfortable relationship.
It's his roommate Jake Curve is filming her face, reacting as she's listening to her roommate get railed in the other room. And Porn Decor Lounge, patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia to hear all that good stuff. Robert, have you? I know because you haven't. Have you seen that? Have you listened to it?
I have actually. I was honestly doing a scroll up, and then I saw that J Curve's face, and I was like, "Oh, I have to listen to this video." And I didn't know that Christian was going to. No, I knew that Christian was going to sound like that. Let's be real.
Yeah, it sounds exactly the way you thought it would be. It's the same reaction as when Robert doesn't know a famous designer. It's pretty much the same thing, but just over and over again. It's just imagine that on repeat. Here's the thing with what did you think about the balloon challenge, Jay? Did you say what your thoughts already?
I think it's just a fun way to do the pre-selected teams that they already had. Don't you think that the producers handed them a balloon and they're like, okay, this one's on orange?
You never saw one take a balloon. You never saw them go up, pick a balloon, and go. They just a balloon. So,
but it's more fun to have this mini challenge, quote unquote. But yeah, I think it's more fun way.
Yeah, and also it's one of those things that makes me miss going to a gay bar and watching the show because it would crush at a gay bar. Just people would just be dying, you know. But what a couple of things. Yeah, it's during like Maddie having to do the balloon challenge. Okay, whatever. Also, Bryce is straight. So every single time, are they like, oh, Bryce is the one, quote unquote, bottoming? Are they like, oh my God? And it's like, okay, you know they're not really fucking, right? You know there's just a balloon and they're like popping a balloon.
Confetti didn't come pouring out of the pit crew's ass when they were done fucking.
And by the way, Maddie could have done what Willow, if you saw Willow used her hip.
Which I would hit it with my ass, I feel like.
That was very brave. I can't believe they did that because Willow could have like broken her, like her, just broken in bones. It's been like a pile, it's falling apart.
Just a shambles.
Yeah, it's just a shambles. That's why she probably used her hip. She's gonna be like, gosh, next week, where's Willow? During the balloon challenge, I shattered my hip when I pressed it up against Bruno.
Poor Willow, my God.
Yeah. All right. That's all I have. And do you guys have any other thoughts on the mini challenge? Anything going on there?
Oh no, that was it.
All right. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break, and when we come right back, we're going to discuss the rest of the episode.
This is Amy Poehler. My new movie, Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2, is coming to theaters June 14th, and it's making me feel joy and sadness and anger, definitely some disgust, and I think a little fear. But I'm also feeling these new emotions like anxiety, embarrassment, envy, and ennui.
It's what you call the boredom.
Okay, that one was weird. It's going to be the feel everything movie of the summer. Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2, rated PG, parental guidance suggested. Only in theaters June 14th. Get tickets now.
Hi, my name is Joe Betance, and I want to talk to you about something serious. Every fucking season on this show, some big fat pig rolls her ankle and has to leave the competition. So I founded a nonprofit to stop Drag Race from injuring our beloved large queens. I'm calling it Save the Whales. And here to discuss it, we have James.
We ran out of music. Start again.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Notice that my cheap, not a major studio ass will not run out of music. But Jay, did you want to talk a little bit about Save the Whales? You know, we lost Eureka. We lost Victoria Scone. And now we've lost Cornbread the Snack Jeté.
Every season we lose a queen. And it hurts my heart to see them leave. When they're gone, I let out tears and know that I will never conquer this fear. Thank you.
Robert?
I'm not as poetic, but this is a cause
You ran out of music.
near
I'm
and
sorry.
dear to
You
my
ran out
heart.
of music. You ran out of music. Try it again.
I think about Ocean.
I don't even know why that just happened. You ran out of
music.
music again. I'm sorry.
All right.
Okay.
Oh my
This
God.
time, I'm going to put it longer. Go ahead.
I think about Ocean Aqua Black, who also rolled her ankle on a season back. I think about Victoria, Eureka, and Cornbread. And I just want to say, I don't have anything to wrap with that.
Oh, I got it. Like, what was the line you just said right now?
I think about all those other girls, Eureka, Victoria, and Cornbread.
I think about Eureka, Victoria, and Cornbread, and why the cast acts like they are dead.
That works.
You're gonna.
I don't think it
them.
rhymes, but it works.
Next week, you'll see them at Mickey's,
giving out hickeys.
I'm sure they'll be on the next season for, honestly, sometimes whatever goddamn reason.
Yeah. Something. Wait, hold on. I don't know what she has in her stash, but how has this not happened to Silky Nutmeg Ganache?
Because she was so damn hard to buy a knee brace when you know you're coming to dance some bullshit on Drag Race.
Yeah, you're right. That's a really good point. Jay, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I said Silky Nutmeg was ready.
Yeah. I am ready if I need. And then she goes out there and does the worst. One of the worst lip syncs I've ever seen. And you know what's so funny? I've never remember because then she did. I will say, in fairness to Silky.
Hold on. Why are we talking about season 11 right now?
Oh, that's right. Guys, if you want to save a queen, go to patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia because I am also a big fucking fat queen and I could roll my ankle at any minute. So support a queen. Save the whale. Patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. Workroom, the teams get to work on their PSA. See, that always makes Taylor laugh. These guys looked at me, they're stone-faced. Taylor is crying with laughter when I do the and you guys are like, uh-huh.
Proceed.
I thought it was road.
Yeah, it is. In the workroom, the three teams get to work on their PSAs. Team Tempest wants to use Candy. Oh, I'm sorry, use Candy Ho. Team Tempest wants to use Candy.
One word really makes a difference.
Yeah. Or Team Cornbread. Team Tempest wants to use Candy Ho, calling Tempest old, and Team James hones in on her ill-fated cheerleading challenge. During the table visits, it's revealed no one on Team Kimura has won a challenge, and Kimura still can't nail, I was rooting for us! On Team James, Orion struggles to tell Rue how their PSA will be funny, and Tempest encourages her team to be as mean as they need to be to win. Let's start with our very own Roberto Mata. Robert, is your birth certificate Roberto, or is it Robert?
It's Robert. It ends at the T.
So does this show. Oh!
Robert with one T.
Okay, Robert, what were your thoughts on this?
Oh, was that a play on Elliot? Robert with one T.
Yeah, it was not good. Name. It was bunk. But let's see. What were my thoughts on this segment of the episode? Well, as Jay said earlier, I really enjoyed getting to see all these relics from Drag Race seasons past. Tempest seemed to be having a good time, which doesn't seem to be common for her on this show. Every time it usually pans to her, she's making a sour face, but she was having a good self sort of she was having a good time. And then we had Kimura, who I think at this point is deliberately not learning the cadence of I was rooting for you. How was she never on the internet? Does she not know this, like, one of the like basic memes of like all of meme pantheon? I don't understand. But good for her, I guess, if she manages to stay away from all of that stuff.
I love that Robert made really astute points and they were really great. And I was the entire time not listening. And I was just thinking that, if his mom was Cher, his name would have ended with, I'm Cher, bitch. I was looking for the clip. And when I hear this point later, Robert, when I'm listening to the show, I will be, oh my God, what a great fucking point. I'll have like 3 other points and I'll probably text you privately and make my points. But I was too busy focusing on the Cher joke.
I always love how Chad Michaels definitively said that Cher doesn't do that whole, like, I'm not even going to pretend to do it, but the lip and the whole thing. Yeah. And then, of course, the next episode she does it to appease RuPaul.
All right, go ahead.
So walking into the challenge, I thought that orange team was going to be the best because that was Deja Sky,
Carrie,
Georges, and Angie. Angeria. And it was Tempest who seemed really game for this challenge. Like she said, be meaner, let's go in, let's actually do this and really like poke fun at me. And I think that just comes with experience of Tempest being, I don't know, like an older queen who is ready to like read herself and have fun with the challenge. So that was my favorite going into it. I thought that team was going to be the strongest.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Robert?
I agree. Only positive. Thumbs up thoughts.
Any other thoughts on, because I was going to, are we only doing Team Orange right now? Because I was going to say, I do love on this part when Tempest mentioned she was called old, the Candy Ho erasure is still real. They don't say Candy Ho. It's just like they show Candy Ho saying it, but they don't say Candy Ho. They don't mention her name. I think even the show loves to erase Candy Ho. Robert, you want to weigh in on that?
Well, I wish they had used Candy's most famous moment, which is when she said, "What the fuck?" And we didn't get any of that reference at all. But
oh, really? Because I think Candy Ho's most famous moment is, let me see here.
Mother does not play.
Okay. What were you saying, Robert?
Just that Candy Ho didn't, as you said, she doesn't really have many moments though, because the show's intent on erasing her. I can't remember if she ever got any sort of vulnerability or anything other than just killing a few lip syncs and then dipping on back to Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on these moments of the workroom, of the table visits? Robert, do you have any notes there? Do you want to share?
I expected whoever was on Tempest's team to go home because Tempest in her season, went home first. And then when she came back for that makeover challenge, she was paired with, Jaden Dior Fierce, and Jaden Dior Fierce also went home that episode. So I've kind of thought that there's a bit of a Tempest curse, but I think they bucked it. She's free. She's liberated. All is well.
Yeah.
The rule of threes did not apply there.
Exactly.
I thought these table visits were kind of like boring, boo-boo. They didn't, there was no result. There was no helping or anything. It was just the same old, what are you going to do to stand out this time? And it's just, what is a queen going to say? Do the same thing I'm always going to do and you guys are just going to tell me I'm doing it wrong? Yeah. Like, I don't understand what they actually think is going to change here. So that was it.
First of all, there's a few, first of all, I gotta say this, and this is really weird. Georges in her confessional is not really doing it for me, but Georges in the workroom, I'm like, she's very, very, very cute in the workroom. I think it has to do with I'm not Christian here, but like sort of the color scheme of her outfit and whatnot in the confessional. This just doesn't work for her, but like in the workroom, she looks fantastic. But apart from that, I don't know what that bitch is going to do when she loses her looks, because she is a motherfucking idiot. Robert, weigh in on this.
How you said Christian is your cousin who, kind of grinds on you and has just always been there. Georges feels like that to me. In my head, I just think of her affectionately as like little Georgie. And I don't understand why she's wearing that neon windbreaker in her confessional. It's definitely giving morning run down Cahuenga.
Yeah.
But I think, she is all looks, but I love the short Thea energy she brings to the runway, the stage, the confessionals. She's just getting her life.
Yeah, she's giving me Gorge Jefferson.
And Gorge Jefferson.
Yeah, that's Robert. So
I was getting Gorge Washington.
Oh, really? I was getting Gorge Burns.
Not Gorge Michael.
Gorge Michael, too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jay, do you want to weigh in whether Georges is an idiot or not?
A really important topic. Yeah. Georges popped for me this episode. I not to jump to the lip sync, but that was part of it. But I thought that her in the workroom was just fun energy. Mm-hmm. She seemed like a really good time.
All right, very good. Now, by the way, I want to point out too that James Mansfield, RuPaul asks him out of drag, what have you been doing? And he goes, I've been doing so much, and the only thing I could think of is he popped up on one episode of Camp Wanakiki, this horrible Camp Wanakiki. Well, that's what James Mansfield is going on, this Camp Wanakiki. Jay, have you seen? I know Robert has not seen Camp Wanakiki. Have you seen this Camp Wanakiki?
I haven't had the pleasure. Haven't dipped a toe into those waters of Camp Wanakiki. What a horrible
show this Camp Wanakiki is. It's pretty much made by Hamburger Mary's. Okay?
Delivery.
Robert, you live in West Hollywood. Jay, you never lived in West Hollywood, but you know Hamburger Mary's very well. Because this is the point I'm trying to make. Because everyone's like, Joe hates Hamburger Mary's. Okay? No! My point is this. Why would anyone pay $25 to get an Applebee's burger delivered to them. The reason what you're essentially paying is an entertainment tax when you go to Hamburger Mary's to see Jasmine Masters roll down the stairs. Okay, you're not going like, oh, I'm so glad I have the cunt burger or whatever they have there, it's like cheese, umami, nachos and tortillas or something like that, right? And
corn or flour because they might be in.
Do you think they still have those burgers from the All Stars 1 finale where they dedicated a burger to each of the finalists? They don't,
because I did go and try and get them, and I was like, yeah, can I have the Chad Michaels burger? And they're like, what are you talking about? Get out of here, faggot. Right?
I love calling people faggots at Hamburger Mary's.
Yeah. Well, I know they're really strangely homophobic.
I think I would be too if I worked there.
Yeah. So that's my thing is just like, and then they put on, you know what? The show Camp Wanakiki is pretty much on par with the food product they put out. It's cheap. It's horrible. It goes on way too long. I don't know what that has to do with food, but,
Well, are you talking about James Mansfield?
Oh, yeah. So James
Okay. Doesn't she have a successful YouTube channel? That's her main thing? Okay, yeah.
So I think business.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how, because does he talk in that James Mansfield voice or does he talk in the drag voice?
She does the Palm Springs bimbo voice.
That voice is nails on a chalkboard to me.
It is. I love how for however many long James has been in the public eye, she out of drag is still extremely uncomfortable on camera, and her body language just kind of reads roly-poly, and I don't understand why she hasn't swung into it yet. She did great on that RuPaul's Christmas movie, though.
Yeah, I think
You guys?
What? Yeah, Jay?
I'm going to be I kind of enjoyed her. Not season 9, but seeing her here, I kind of enjoyed her. I thought she was fun.
I don't know. I've interviewed.
That's valid. I don't dislike her. I just think that she makes herself an easy target by kind of always giving a shoulder instead of, front-facing confidence.
Don't you remember when she walked into the workroom for the first time? She's just like wiggling, like, ooh, because I'm sure the producers say like stand there for a few minutes, and she just didn't know what to do. You're right. She's uncomfortable on camera, and maybe I'm endeared to her because I think I've only seen her in spurts. I don't watch the YouTube channel. But from what I saw, like, this could be a fun character. I don't know how much I'd want to go.
I see what you're saying, yeah, because there is a moment in this episode when she's in boy drag, it's in the workroom, and she makes some sort of funny joke. I don't remember what it is. And she does that thing that uncomfortable people do where she makes the joke, where she's like, Berg her, I don't even know her. But then she does the thing where she does the shifty eyes as a visual thing, and she goes like, like, to see if anyone laughed. And I'm like, oh, you're so awkward.
Yeah.
She came in with the puppets, but she actually genuinely loves puppets. You know why?
Everybody loves
puppets. Thank you. There it is.
Puppets.
This is when you have real drag fans. They know that everybody loves puppets. All right, let's move on with the show here. Jay, we can't be meandering here. It's time to record the PSAs with Michelle Visage. On Team Tempest, Georgia struggles with timing, and Deja forgets her lines. Over on Team Kamora, Lady Camden needs to speak louder, and Bosco gives her character an edge. Meanwhile, on Team James, Orion's outfit doesn't fit her team's theme, and Jasmine gets called out for sounding like the Count. From Sesame Street. Let's start with our very good friend Jay Ellis here. Jay, your thoughts on the recording of the PSAs?
Okay, I could dissect this whole section for a month if I wanted to, but the main thing I'll give is nobody ever brought up Sally Struthers, who was like known for a PSA, I think in the 90s, maybe early 2000s.
Stop. Robert, who's Sally Struthers?
I don't know. I'm just nodding along.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Jake, now you know why they did.
Let me live in ignorance for a second. It's a rare treat.
Now you know
She's
why.
She's loquacious.
Now you know why.
Sally Struthers, I love her. I'll join the pod if she's on it.
Now you know why they didn't reference Sally Struthers, Jay. But
okay, well, to me,
that would be a great Snatch Game character because RuPaul would like that.
Yes, and before Sarah McLachlan was the ASPCA woman, Sally Struthers was doing what for Africa? I think for Africa,
Ethiopia.
So children. Same idea, just for the children, exactly. So I don't know. I guess that was a reference that I thought. But in Rue's whole table visit, she's like, we want it to be taken seriously because that's the funny joke is you guys are delivering these ridiculous lines seriously. Then cut to Michelle giving direction where she goes, go ham, girl. Like, just like go in, like lean into this character, do this, and like say it with the, like, you know, got to fit it in. I'm like, they're doing Hamilton rhyming and like terrible words where Rue wanted like a more serious affect to the message. And I think it would have been funny played straight and have the visuals be funny, but I don't know. It just, nothing clicked for the actual like final thing, but I don't know. I don't know. That's my thing. I liked having the callbacks to season 7, you know, Tempest, Kimura, and James having like what they're known for on the show, because immediately, like, what an impact that some of these queens had in just one episode or two. I mean, some of them were around for 3, but yeah, I don't know. It was interesting.
Yeah, Kimura didn't go home to like episode 4, because I remember they did a like, super extensive thing. Robert, what were your thoughts?
It definitely didn't seem like the brief was clear or really well thought out. Not even just the rhyming, but also the tone that they wanted to give. And so when the notes were different for different people, it sort of made me as a viewer feel like I wasn't sure what to watch for and how to judge adequately. I mean, I guess they have the judges lying to me the whole time, so maybe that's not important. But I did feel like Jasmine Kennedy's Dr. Seuss voice was a very strange cadence to kind of keep going. And I was not thrilled to know that everyone followed that general pattern of speech. So it was just a strange structure of a challenge that I thought could have been a fun, more sort of knife twisty, patronizing thing that turned into, I don't know. I felt kind of sad for the queens by the end.
Well, you know what's so funny is, did you notice that Michelle said, I'm only the eyes. She didn't say I'm not directing you, but she was like, I'm only, because I think that this Michelle has so hated the sort of mean, evil bitch, persona
role.
Yeah, that she's trying to be the mama, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's like, so she was I was thinking like season 3 Michelle, when Deja Sky was flubbing her line, would have been the one raised eyebrow. Like, what'd you say about Drag You? You know, like, that was a rough spot.
Well, I think that Michelle's coming as a seasoned veteran actor now.
And this Michelle Visage, right? She thinks she's an actress. On this AJ and the Queen, they created a role for her. They created an entire character for her, and she's so bad, she couldn't even land a role that was created for her. They had to give it to this girl from Wayne's World 2. I don't remember her name.
Oh, was that supposed to be
Tia
Michelle
Carrera.
Visage?
Yeah. Oh, you can't tell when you watch it?
I didn't watch, so I didn't know that.
We tried to cover AJ and the Queen. Lori and I couldn't make it past episode 1. Right? Because it would take us 80 minutes just to get in the Chinese restaurant scene with RuPaul. Okay, so anyway, go back to what you were saying, Jay, but I feel like they fucked with him in other ways with this weird music thing with Georges. I'm like, well, why is there music? Your job as the editor, let her go and then cut it down, or why is there a music thing? It can keep, like I just told you, I have music on loops all the time.
Well, I also think that they hurt the girls, or in the packaging of this, I kind of thought it should have been 3 separate entities. Yes. And when we were watching them do it as teams, I was like, okay, these are going to be 3 separate commercials or PSAs. Mm-hmm. And then when they lumped them together, I was like, oh, so we're all following the same, I guess, song and scheme and stuff. It just felt very muddled. And I didn't get that translation, like Robert said. I felt like there was mixed messages, and I didn't know who was doing well, because there was so many different narratives of what the people were saying they wanted from the queens.
Yeah. Honestly, I was trying to take notes during this, and it was like, meh, it's the same thing we've seen before. Some people can't hit their lines, but again, I've said this before, I'll say it again, because this happens so much. Go to a fucking live finale. This RuPaul can't say a line to save her life, you know? Mm-hmm. And so, and that's fine. Welcome, you know? And, it's just do it again. It happens all the time.
Do you know, I don't know this offhand, but is English a second language for Georges?
Robert, tell us, you're Mexican.
It doesn't feel like it. I think that unfortunately she's just not particularly loquacious.
Okay. Yeah. Totally know what that means.
There was a moment where Georges had that same exact thing, and Michelle, I think, said, maybe this is going to be a smash cut or something like that. It was some like radio or commercial term, and Georges, clearly not knowing what it was like, oh yeah, I could do that for sure.
Michelle,
well, and I mean, Joe, you kind of said it, but I don't think that there was really a weak link. I don't think anybody had like the really hard, unless they didn't show it, but it felt like the queens were able to move through this somewhat easily. Like, they all understood it.
The closest I would say, but to me, like, this wasn't discussed in the workroom, was Orion seemed to be out of step with what the other girls were doing. And I don't mean necessarily in what she did, but in terms of her look and her delivery. They were doing more like, working woman, and she was doing like drunk housewife. And that would be the closest, but they were even trying to say that Orion was really bad, and it wasn't, in the finished product, it wasn't much worse than anybody else's.
Between this and Untucked, I don't think Orion had many fans in the room. I don't think many people were like loving being there with Orion.
I didn't watch Orion. I didn't watch Untucked. What happened with Orion and Untucked?
It just seemed like everybody was pumping up Georges, like, you're going to go out there, you're going to slay, you're going to kill Mama. Whoever you're against, like, show no pity, kill her. And it's just like, Orion's like cutting eyes at everybody.
Sorry, I had to edit out a really awful, offensive joke that Robert made about Orion being homeless. So that was the beep you heard there. Okay. It's Elimination Day, and the queens all feel confident about their performances. Orion thinks she could pull off a win. Georges discusses her drag origin story, and Willow shares her struggles with her chronic illness. Let's start with our very own Robert with one T, Mata. Robert Kills.
I guess there's actually two T's there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. I think it was your standard in the mirror sort of sob story moment that, we get every episode. And it was interesting that they did it for Willow so soon after already doing it just a couple episodes prior. So I would love to see more from Willow that isn't, I'm crying and I miss my girl Cornbread. And, of course, naturally, obviously it's important that she reminds us all what her physical limitations are, and the decline is really devastating to think about it at the age of 26. I just don't know why the producers chose to give us that story essentially back to back. But otherwise, I think the girls were having a good time kikiing and getting ready for the stage. And Willow showed a picture of her family, and I thought her dad was pretty damn hot. Why didn't the camera linger there longer?
Oh, Willow's dad? I don't remember him.
Well, I assume it was her dad.
Yeah, I didn't see him.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, Jay, what are your thoughts, Jay?
The thing that stood out to me was Georges as a child dancing the same way that she was dancing on the stage. It was really fun to watch that. But yeah, I mean, the mirror moments are always going to be the, prompted by a producer clearly, and then somebody just goes, so what are your thoughts on Al-Qaeda? And it's just like, what? Like, where did this come from?
I would love to have Georges asking like complicated questions. Georges, is Spotify making the right decision about Joe Rogan? Joe Rogan.
I don't know, but
who's Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan. I don't know. When I was in my kitchen as a young child, though, I was listening to Joe Rogan while I vogued. Yeah. I don't know.
Joe Rogan?
It's just interesting.
I know her. Anyway, what were you saying?
I watched Fear Factor in 3rd grade. Wasn't it gross, girl, eating those bull testicles?
Yeah, Georges has given me very much that little soon-to-be gay kid from Kids Try. What's the name of that kid? You know who I'm talking about? Oh, he's on all kinds of... I know, Georges. He's on all kinds of memes. He's on all kinds of memes, but he's like... They have these kids who try like different things, and he's in all of them. And he's so gay, which is funny because he's like 9 or 10 now, or I don't know how old he is. And now he's like still gay, but super anti-gay. He's like
Lohanthony?
Yes, kind of like Lohanthony, where he's like, I don't like gay people, right? And I'm all like, it's kind of awkward.
Who's going to break it?
Yeah.
Who's going to tell him? I was saying how I enjoyed Georges dancing, but the mirror moments. I mean, and I agree with you, Robert. I don't know why we got Willow, because it's almost like Evie Oddly. Like, I don't want to remember Willow Pill I want to remember her drag and not the conditions of her kidney.
Yeah, but it's funny. Now it makes sense why Evie Oddly took such a shine to Willow Pill, that they both have these like afflictions that they have to sort of take advantage of their youth, because later on they won't be able to do it. They're going to be like in 20 years, they're going to be like the end of Death Becomes Her, together. Like, where'd you park the car? Or is that the line?
Yeah.
The two of them together. I'm going to be doing
now a warning. My favorite.
Yeah. Maybe they made a rotten deal with what's the name of that actress again?
Isabella Rossellini.
Thank you. Do you know what we're talking about, Robert?
Yeah, I watched it in the 80s.
Were you even alive in the 80s?
No, that's the joke, Joe.
Oh.
Same.
I'm Tempest du jour, by the way. And this rotten bitch just called me old.
And sent me home.
Yeah, the Willow thing, I saw in the live episode discussion, people were really moved in our Patreon Discord live episode. Like, somebody was saying that they had real tears going down their face. I was just a heartless bitch eating popcorn when I was watching it. What about you, Robert? Did it really move you?
I certainly didn't have any tears for it. I, usually save those for my workday, but I did definitely feel for her and, understand, really even feeling at my tender age of 29, I could start to feel my body start to decline too. And I am allegedly able-bodied, so I can only imagine how much more severe of that she has to experience every single day, especially in a demanding career like drag.
Jay?
Yeah, I liked, I enjoyed hearing the donation from her brother, like how it all came to be. I don't know, stuff like that, it just kind of opens up and again, this show has a platform for a very specific amount of people, and it taught me something that I didn't know about, which is kind of interesting. I don't know. Things like that.
But it was a sad, RuPaul could have totally weighed in on this and been like, oh, your brother big uphill? Big uphill? How would a baby, big old pill?
Big old pill?
Big old pill?
Not a little pill, but a big old pill.
Not a little pill, but a big old pill? Is that your brother, big old pill?
Goodness. I don't think RuPaul's doing that anymore, is she? I don't remember hearing it.
Do you know how fast they said, bitch, get in here, do ADR, because you did that too many times and people hate it online. You are re-recording every little will pill.
Well, why haven't they done that then with, do I know her? Is she from Pacoima? Robert loves to clock all the dumb jokes.
It's a constant of I don't know her, or I call it just not even the lowest hanging fruit, just the fucking a bruised fruit on an exposed root on the ground. Just I'm tired of hearing every time Ross has the same boring ass take and Carson will come with the same like elementary school pun.
The one thing I will say, and Jay will agree with me, I still love though. What the fuck did you just call me? I don't know why that still makes me laugh, but the other ones I agree.
I'm here for that one.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a rarer one. Like maybe we'll only get it every like 15 episodes or so.
Yeah. Well, there is a little bit of an element of surprise too, because she'll, big old pill. What did you just call me? Anyway, I don't really have much to say about the elimination. We just did 20 minutes on it, but any other thoughts on Elimination Day?
No, let's get to the runway.
Wow, Jay.
Jay's a busy girl.
I know, Jay's really, I know. Where do you have to go, Jay?
Go take a will pill.
Well, if you really want to hear the runway in depth, you're going to listen to Bring It to the Runway, both on Patreon and over at, right now, Spotify, coming soon everywhere. Bring It to the Runway every week. Christian Ochoa, well, actually our good friend Robert Mata comes on here, and, just to give us a little taste, Robert, a little preview, give us your favorite look and your least favorite look from the night.
My favorite look was probably, I'm running through them in my head.
I'll give you a little bit of time. I'll give you a little time because the category is Spring Has Sprung. Jay, do you have it ready? Do you know did you come prepared?
I figured that Bring It to the Runway was going to do an in-depth thing, so I only wrote down my top 3.
Sure, do it.
So my top, and because it was camp and I love the teabag earrings, was Lady Camden. Mm-hmm. I liked Deja Sky's mask. It's like a mesh with the bunny. Mm-hmm. I liked that. Robert, don't you dare look at me like this. I don't like that face. And then my third was Willow Pill because I liked it was outside of the box or outside of the house. I thought that was very interesting and funny. But none of them really were like Spring Has Sprung. I guess that was the runway prompt and I didn't really understand what a lot of the girls did except for flowers. Mm-hmm. I get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were the ones that stood out.
Robert, what about you?
Lots of pastel pink. I don't personally really associate spring with pink. I'm sure I'll go on a tirade about it later. But my favorite would have to be Willow Pill, probably for entire presentation. I think she did a great job elevating that Sasha Velour house on your head idea and just, put the whole damn head in the house. My least favorite is probably going to be controversial, but I think it was Carrie Colby. Mm-hmm. It just was sort of a hot mess of a look, and I am going to be really surprised to see what Christian has to say.
Well, you know what? It's funny that you say that. I actually have a special time machine that I built. So why don't you say it again?
I'm really surprised that my least favorite look of the night was from Carrie Colby.
Bitch, what? Bitch, look at what you're fucking wearing. A fucking black shirt. Who are you, Joe Betance 25 years ago? Like, you're gonna come in here and discuss my girl, Carrie Colby? Fuck, she's wearing fucking Balenciaga the house down boots. What the fuck have you done, motherfucker? When have you fucking worn any clothes? Girl, in high school, your biggest thing was you went to the American Eagle one time and bought a bracelet. How are you reading this girl? This bitch could run around you in circles with clothes. Don't come for her. I worked at the Limited 2 15 years ago, and I dressed bitches from there. And you're like, okay.
Limited 2.
Limited 2.
Christian dressed half the bitches at the Met Gala, according to him.
Bitch, what do you fucking know about the Met Gala? Bitch, I am the Met Gala. My name is Ochoa. You know why? Because it rhymed with Met Gala. I know that's a stretch, but don't come for me. I've been there. I stood in the grandstands and watched Beyonce walk in. What the fuck did you do? See? So hear more of that. Go over to Spotify and or Anchor.com and type in "Bring It to the Runway," another Afterthought Media hit show. And you just heard a preview.
This is a hostile work environment for you, Robert.
It really
is. It's actually completely normal. I'm just used to sort of brushing it all off and just kind of nodding along and being like, yeah, I guess I can agree, but that doesn't mean I don't have opinions still.
Yeah, it'll be like Robert goes like, you know what I like? To have 8 Uncrustables in one sitting. And, bitch, what the fuck do you know about an Uncrustable? Have you ever had a crust in your life? But the crust is the best fucking part. I am from fucking Jalisco, Texas. That's not even a place, but I'm just saying.
Christian's from there, though.
Yeah, he's from there. I made it so. I was at the Constitution. What does that have to do with anything?
He signed that shit.
John Hancock, and underneath it says Christian Ochoa, and I put the number 8 and an A. Anyway. All right.
Those are far too few bitches. You have to say bitch at least every other comma.
That's true. Well, I'm working on it. Anyway, that's the looks. On the main stage, RuPaul names Bosco the winner of the challenge. A person we've not mentioned this entire episode won the whole thing and places Orion's story with Georges in the bottom 2, forcing them to square off in a lip-sync battle for their lives. The song, My Head and My Heart by charismatic icon Ava Max. In the end, Georges is told Shantae you stay, while Orion's story is asked to sashay away, bringing an end to Orion's story. Ladies, any final thoughts on the episode? Let's start over with the mistress of the dark herself, Mr. J. Ellis.
Ooh. Overall, I'm not a Maxinista, but I do love the song by Ava Max. Mm-hmm. Known for going into, what's that game that kids play on their iPad? She did a concert in there. Not Fortnite.
Run?
No. Roblox. Roblox. It's this thing where she did a virtual concert and it was very funny, like when it happened at the time. Agree. I don't think she's charismatic, but watch out. I think she's going to have a great album coming up. I like the lip sync. I thought it was fun. It was a heavy edit toward Georges. If you watch it again, Orion's story is shown maybe 3 times. And then it's confessionals telling us that Georges is doing an amazing job, sweetie. But overall, I mean, Georges is a great dancer, a great performer. And I thought it was a really fun way to end the episode.
Hey guys, sorry if you're listening to this later. I had to edit out an offensive joke Robert made that Orion's story was looking for a place to live during the lip sync. And I had to edit that out. Robert, sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
Well, back to my Orion story thoughts. Yeah. I actually thought that Orion looked really damn good. I usually am not into the sort of what's the word? The
pale face with the
hobo aesthetic.
God. No, the damn burlesque adjacent nighty night sort
there,
of look.
Actually, in the early 90s.
Oh, excellent! In the Heights, but we would have. Usually Orion sort of give us a Michigander look, but here I thought she really gave us a sexy stoned woman who evidently can do the splits. But I also really love it when in Drag Race a queen does the splits who's clearly going home and they don't edit it with the boom sound or any sort of actual like fanfare. It's just a queen doing the splits and it's just dead space.
Yeah. That's a really good
no flourish. It should just make a like sound like just like a squish or something.
I think after Chocolate, they're gonna have to bring the trombone back for splits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Like a splat. Yeah. Jay, what about you?
I think I already went.
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah.
I loved it. I love this drink. I love this lip sync.
I love that drink.
I think I'll go back and I judge it off of will I go back and rewatch it, and I think I will. I enjoyed the song and George's performance.
Oh, you'll go back and watch the lip sync, not the whole episode. Like, why would you do that?
Oh, the episode. Sorry. Oh, this whole episode? Yeah. No, I liked it. I think this was out of the season so far. I think this is my top episode.
Oh, really? It was very whatever.
Yeah. Without cornbread? Yeah. Are you celiac?
Yeah.
Do you have to?
Yeah, I can't have cornbread in my diet. No, with the lack of cornbread, yeah, you're right. I guess I did miss her for a better portion of it, but I do think that the show will be able to stand without her, and I think we're going to have her again. That's what's kind of giving me hope, is I think we will see cornbread on season 15 or somewhere.
All right, very good. Were there any notes you wanted to give that you didn't get to give them, or that we glossed over them? Jay has one. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I wrote, why did they turn this into We Are the World at the end? Like they all started singing together. I've never seen a PSA devolve into a music video.
It was random. Almost like it was. Yeah, you know what it reminded me? I did think about that. It did remind me. It was sort of giving me. What was? Can I get an amen? Yes.
Yes. That's it.
Yeah. What about any other final thoughts for you, Robert?
I don't know why they went with this Ava Max song instead of the original that it samples. Mm-hmm. I would have loved, Around the World. I was waiting for it the whole time. I realized obviously the song name comes at the bottom of the screen, so I knew it was not going to be that. But every time the melody came up again, I was ready to be electrified. And I just got our Albanian. Actually, she's not Albanian. She's from Wisconsin, like James Mansfield. But it was not the song that I wanted. But we came awfully close.
Mm-hmm. All right.
More 90s, early 2000s dance hits. I thought they learned their lesson with 100% Pure Love last season, but we haven't gotten them since.
All right. Well, we're going to have to end it on that weird note I didn't understand. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. Special thanks to Jay Ellis and Robert Mata for filling in for the injured Taylor the Latte Boy. Meanwhile, be sure to join us next week and every week as we continue to discuss, dissect, and deconstruct each and every episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 14. So, for Robert Mata, Jay Ellis, and myself,
sashay away. Until next week.
Thank you for listening to RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. Have something to say? Email us at dragracerecap@afterthought.media. You can also leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/afterthoughtmedia. For more Drag Race and LGBTQ content, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. Taylor has another podcast. It's called Pod is My Co-Pilot, and you can find it wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow Taylor the Latte Boy on Instagram and Twitter at PIMCTaylor. Follow Joe Betance on Instagram and Twitter at Joe Betance. This episode was produced by Luke Stamen and Zach Birch. Very special thanks to these expensive tier Patreon supporters: Agnesia Shopinska, April Pacheco, Astute Girl, Brad Coley, Coco San Pedro, Declan Prosser, Drew Brooks, E. Smith, Emma, Humble Pie, J. Thomas Plank, Jesse Harris, Lauren Eckert, Lionel Campbell, Lucy Carrasco, Luke Stamen, Nicholas Springham, Poppy Woods, Ricardo Herrera, Sarah Yu, Tom Bombs, Travis Newland, Troy Anderson, Zach Nelson, Corinna Williamson, Elizabeth Timmer, Nikki Baker, Robert NYC, David Olson, and Alexandra Sixt. Drag Race Recap is an Afterthought Media podcast.